You know that one room in your house, the one that's always freezing no matter how high you crank the heat? Well, it turns out the pros who manage these gigantic commercial cold rooms, they've figured out the secrets to a perfect seal. So, in this explainer, we're going to take their industrial strength principles and turn them into some incredibly cheap, super easy DIY fixes that'll make your home warmer today. All right, let's get into it.
We have all been there, right? You're just trying to relax, maybe watch a movie, but that icy draft just keeps creeping in. It's that feeling that turns a cozy night into a constant battle over the thermostat. But what if I told you the solution isn't just about blasting more heat, but about being way smarter with the heat you've already got? So here's our game plan. First, we gotta understand the enemy, the cold itself. Then, we're gonna move systematically through our home's defenses, hitting the doors, then the windows, and then we're gonna uncover some really sneaky hidden leaks. And finally, we'll wrap it all up by showing you how to think like a pro to keep your home warm for good. To win this war, we first have to understand what we're actually fighting. And spoiler alert, it's not just the cold air, it's how it gets inside your house.
Okay, so this right here is the core principle we're borrowing from the commercial world. The number one problem is simply unwanted airflow. See, when that warm, kind of moist air inside your house smacks into the cold, dry air from a leak, that's what gives you that drafty feeling. The real key here is that it's not usually one big hole. It's dozens of tiny, unsealed gaps that create this constant, cold-inducing temperature imbalance.
Let's start with the biggest offender in most homes, your exterior door. I mean, think about it. It's used constantly, so its seals get worn out, basically creating a super highway for cold air to just waltz right in. All right, 3 dead simple steps. First, lock your door and just push on it. Do you feel any movement, any rattle? That means it's not pressing tight against the seal. The solution could be totally free. Just grab a screwdriver and adjust that little metal tab on the strike plate in the door jamb. Bend it out a little to tighten the fit. If that's not enough, your weather stripping is probably shot. Just pull out that old compressed foam and replace it with a new, thicker vinyl seal. It literally just snaps right into the groove. And this just shows you the value. We're talking about $6.50 for a brand new, full-length vinyl door seal. I mean, for less than a fancy coffee, you can completely overhaul your door's main defense against the cold. That is an absolutely amazing return on investment. And the results? They really do speak for themselves. The original video used a thermal camera, which is awesome. Before the fix, the gaps around the door were reading in the low 40s Fahrenheit. After that simple $6 seal went in, those exact same spots were up in the mid-50s. That's a 10-degree plus improvement from one tiny, easy project. Okay, our doors are fortified. Now, let's move on to the next major battleground, the windows. They can be just as bad as doors for letting in drafts, but luckily, the fixes are just as simple and just as cheap. We've got a few levels of attack here. The free fix, and you'd be surprised how common this is. If you have exterior storm windows, just double-check that the glass panel is actually slid all the way down for the winter. For smaller leaks, you can use some removable sealant tape to cover the gaps. But for the ultimate seal, the best option is a shrink film insulation kit that covers the entire window. And again, just look at this cost. A window insulation kit that can cover multiple windows is about $4. It's so easy. You just apply the double-sided tape, stick the film on, and then use a hairdryer to shrink it tight. What you're doing is creating this insulating pocket of still air, and it makes a massive difference. You know, this is a really crucial point. Doing these things every year isn't just a chore. In the commercial world, they call this preventative maintenance, servicing your equipment on a regular schedule to stop costly failures before they happen. So by sealing up your windows and doors each fall, you're basically adopting that same professional strategy for your own home. All right, so we've tackled the obvious culprits. But what about the drafts you can't easily see? These hidden leaks, they often add up to be an even bigger problem. So just take a second and think about your own house. Besides the doors and windows, where else could cold air possibly be sneaking in through your exterior walls? The answers? They might actually surprise you. And here they are. Every single one of these is a hole that was cut right through your home's exterior wall. I mean, think about it. An electrical box is just a hollow plastic box. Dryer vents often have those flimsy little flaps, and crawlspace vents are literally designed to let outside air in. Each one is a small but really significant source of cold. This
This is my absolute favorite fix because it is so cheap and so incredibly effective. For about $9, you can get a pack of 50 of these little foam gaskets. You just pop off the outlet cover plate, place the foam insulator over the opening, and screw the cover back on. The moment you do it, you can literally feel that the cold draft coming through is gone. It's so satisfying.
Okay, now let's pull it all together. We've seen all the individual tactics. Now let's build the professional strategy that really makes them work.
Here it is. This is the biggest mindset shift you can make. The average person might see a tiny little crack around a window and think, no big deal. But the commercial cold storage pro, they know that a perfect seal is everything. They get that 100 tiny gaps are just as bad, if not worse, than one giant hole, because they disrupt the temperature balance all over the place.
And here is another great pro tip. In a commercial freezer, if you overstock the shelves, it blocks airflow and creates ice buildup. Well, the exact same principle is true at home. If you block your heating vents with a couch or you overstuff a closet that has a vent in it, you are literally stopping your heating system from circulating air the way it's supposed to. Proper airflow is just as important as a good seal.
So, it really all boils down to these 3 professional principles. Number 1, seal every single gap, no matter how small you think it is. 2, make sure air can actually circulate freely from your vents. And 3, treat your home like a system that needs regular, preventative maintenance every single year.
And let's not forget how unbelievably affordable all this is. Here's a quick look at the highest impact fixes we talked about. Adjusting that strike plate is totally free. The outlet gaskets, the window kits, the new door seals, they're all under $10. For less than the cost of getting a pizza delivered, you can make a huge dent in your home's drafts and ultimately your heating bill.
So let's end with this thought. These aren't just one-time winter fixes. Sealing your house also saves you a ton of money on air conditioning in the summer. So what if we started thinking about our home seal not just as a seasonal chore, but as a fundamental part of maintaining a smarter, more efficient, and way more comfortable place to live all year round?